Our second alert, which at the same time is to educate and enlighten everybody. So the purpose of our channel is alerting, educating, enlightening, getting it, helping people to time travel, helping people to globetrot, help people to access concepts, key concepts, and to simplify and explain what's going on so that everybody can get on board and understand what's happening. So the second key alert is nuclear war. In ancient India, we have sacred texts, the Mahabharata, for example, that talk about nuclear war. Nobody doubts it. When you read about it, you understand. They talk about Bimanas, flying spaceships. And if you get familiar with these texts, you understand that something very serious happened around 5,000 to 7,000 years ago. Exactly when this region became a desert. So something very, very serious happened in the north of India and initiated the desertification process. At that time, this place was a tropical paradise. Suddenly, it became a desert. So we have to understand that nuclear wars have happened and have happened on Earth. The Japanese suffered a nuclear war. The Americans exploded a hydrogen bomb and a nitrogen bomb. And Japan was destroyed and suffered radioactivity and problems with birth for generations. Now, it's Europe, the region of Ukraine, the border of Eastern Europe and Western Europe, and Palestine, the whole region of the Middle East, where, as we have mentioned and we are seeing, it's getting from bad to worse and from worse to total collapse. So we know that there is a plan for Israel to conquer from the Nile River all the way to the Persian Gulf, from the Mediterranean all the way to the Arabian Sea. They call it the Greater Israel. And they have been, with the help of the United States over the last 50 years or more, planning to create this Greater Israel and of basically kicking out the Arabs who are living in this region, maybe around 150 million Arabs. And the bombing, non-stop bombing and destruction of Gaza, of many places of Syria, many places of Iraq, is basically so people become immigrants, they leave, and the Israeli army annexes a part, annexes another part, and starts this expansion program. So it's something that people know about, but no one wants to talk about. And this is what's behind what's really happening. And as they have a lot of money, Israel, and which controls the banking, investment sectors of the world, and the United States, which is a consequence of this, they spend $1 million here, 10 million here, 100 million here, put one militant group against another, train a third militant group to fight another, and nobody seems to understand. And the whole Middle East has become swallowed up in this tit for tat, but basically getting everybody out as immigrants. So we have many factions. The Kurds are fighting the Turks. The Shias are fighting the Sunnis. The pro-Islamic radical movements are fighting the so-called liberal, modern section. And the pro-Dubai Persian Gulf factions are fighting the pro-Turkish factions, and then you have the pro-Israeli factions, but no one wants to admit. People know that the Hamas was created with the help of the Israeli intelligence to divide the Palestinians. And so the concept of divide and rule is everywhere. And the person and the place is turning into a black hole where everything, the sand is sucking everything inside. Billions and billions of dollars have disappeared millions of lives have disappeared. And just in the last year or so, more than 100,000 people of Gaza, innocent women and children, have been assassinated, murdered. Okay, a similar thing is happening in Ukraine. They estimate that 15 million people have become immigrants. Ukraine has been destroyed. We have around 1 million, 2 million deaths. Young people from all over the world have joined Russia, and others have joined NATO, and they've died and they've been fooled. Oh, it's easy. We'll arm you, we'll send you to the frontier, and then they're sent exactly to where there's no protection, there's no warning, and they're destroyed. So they're throwing young people from all over the world, and the population of young men is crashing. The global population is crashing. We are having a terrible demographic crisis, which is worsened as women are working more and more and becoming more and more infertile. And the sperm count of men, especially in the Western industrial societies where everything is plastic everywhere, the sperm count has crashed too. So men are becoming totally infertile. So, summarizing, we are already in a third world war. It doesn't mean that the whole globe will be destroyed. It means that certain sections of the world will be destroyed as they have been destroyed in the past. Why is there so much desert in this region? How come? How come the people disappeared in Europe? There were like 3 times more people in Europe 100 years ago. What happened to them? They were killed by 50 years of non-stop wars, beginning from the First World War and civil wars, and then the Holocaust, the Second World War, the revenge killings, and so on and on and on. And many of the ex-Nazi soldiers and sympathizers and supporters from all over Europe were killed also in revenge killings and escaped to North Africa defending the French Foreign Legion, and died. So a lot of young men have disappeared from Europe. No one wants to talk about it, as always, because it's difficult saying that my friend is a mercenary for Nazi people, for killing black people and innocent women and children and so on. So people don't want to talk about their Nazi inheritance and how they were supporters of Nazism. In the United States, there was a lot of pro-Nazi movement for more than 10 years. And they only participated in the Second World War at the end of the war. It was the Soviet Union that destroyed Germany. Although the Americans take all the credit. When you study history and you get it right, you understand there's a lot of scamming. And history is a giant scam. So, our second alert is, okay, maybe we will have a limited nuclear war. Some cities, some areas will be blown apart like Nagasaki and Hiroshima, but we are still there with Japan today. Although for some reason the population has completely stagnated with more than 1 million people over 100 years old, and who's going to pay for them? And who's going to sustain them? And something happened to the fertility of Japanese people, of their land, with so much radioactivity. So, whatever happens, we cannot control it. But people who are really far away from this, let's say, war zone, will survive and life will go on. Thanks for watching. Please stay for the third video.